Hi, good morning. Today we'll be having a tutorial on Laravel Passport Authentication. We also build a simple product CRUD using Laravel Passport Authentication. Laravel already provides traditional login form authentication, but if you want to use API uses token for authentication, for authenticating users because they don't use section. When a user logs in via API, a token is generated and sent to the user, which is used for authentication purposes. Laravel provides Passport to work with API authentication without any difficulty. So let's see how to set up and configure Laravel Passport for API authentication and RESTful APIs in a Laravel application. So let's start. Alright, so to start, the first thing we are going to do is to install a Laravel project. So I'm just going to copy this command. You should be used to this by now. So though my network is a little bit slow, so I'm just going to pause the video, and once it's done, we continue. Yeah. Alright guys, our installation is done. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to open this folder in a new window. So we're just going to say, open in File Explorer. Okay, so this is the folder. So we just open the folder and we open it in VS Code again, then close this one. Alright, so now we are back. So these are working folder. So the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to install passports. So we're just going to do composers. So we're just going to do composer. Alright, so just do composer require Laravel /passport. So let's just allow it to install. So while it does that, so I'll just pause the video for a moment. Alright, so we are done installing our passports. So the next thing I want to do is we'll open our XAMPP and we'll create a database for our Laravel project. So these are our XAMPP loading. Alright, so let's create a database for it. So let's say Lara Passport. Right. So now we're going back to our project and we'll go to our environments. My system is just being slow unnecessarily. Alright, so in database we just put Lara Passport. Alright guys, so this is all we need to do for now. So the next thing we are going to do is we're going to go to our config, we'll go to app, and what we want to do here is we want to add passports to our service provider. So we just come under the section where we have provider here. So this is what I normally do. I just kind of like, you know, go down a little to know the one I had it. So say Laravel passports service provider, then class. So this is it. So Laravel Passport, they will call the passport service provider. So that's after that. Then the next thing we're going to do now is we just come here and just say PHP artisan migrate. So alright, so our migration is done. So we will check our Laravel, the database. You're just going to see something. Now see all these O2 access tokens. These were being added by our passports. So alright guys, so we are done and we are good to go. So the first thing first we want to do next is we are going to do PHP artisan passport install. So the reason why we did this is to generate an encryption key that is required to generate a secret access token. Okay, this is just kind of like the standard. All right, so next thing is we'll go under app, under user. So here we need to change our Laravel application to be compatible with the passport configuration. So the first thing we want to do is, so we're going to add use Laravel passport has API tokens. All right, so once we are done with that, we just come here and we just do has API token. Okay, come on. All right guys, so this is all we need to do for now. So let's move forward to creating our authentication service provider routes. So to add passport routes, what we need to do is we need to go to the app folder, then we'll go to the provider, then from the provider we'll go to auth service provider. Then inside the auth service provider, first thing first is we'll first of all enable the model policy. Then after the model policy, the next thing we want to do is we'll add use Laravel passport all right, so this is so we add the Laravel passport to our auth service provider. So the next thing we want to do is we'll go to the boot function, and inside this boot function we just add passports routes. So guys, what this actually does is, once this just automatically creates all the necessary routes that is required for passport. All right, so this is what this does. So instead of you creating it manually, this just does everything for you. So all right guys, so the next stage now is we need to edit our authentication. So we need to edit our authentication, and that is inside the authentication folder. So we just go straight to the app. All right, so inside this app, we are just going to add the passport to our API feed. Okay, just a second. Sorry, is the auth folder, not app. So inside this auth folder, we're just going to come down to the section that has API, and we're just going to use provider drivers. The driver is going to be passport, and we're just going to comment this hash here. All right, so this is what we need to do. So all right guys, so let's start creating the routes for the project. All right, so to create the routes, what we're just going to do, we just go straight to the root folder. We'll go straight to API. All right, go straight to API, and so this is what we're just going to do here. So the first thing first is we just call routes. So we're going to create the post route here for login. Okay, we're going to create a post route for login, and it's called passport. Sure. Login. Okay. So I'm just gonna duplicate these and okay. So in case you're wondering how I did that, just press Ctrl D. That's if you're using VS Code. So just highlight and press Ctrl D. So that's how I did that. All right. So inside our middleware, so I'm just going to refactor this a little. So the first thing I'm just going to do is I'll remove the. Okay, let me just write it from scratch. So that's roots. So I'm going to call the middleware. And in the middleware, I'm just going to do auth API. So what I want to do, I want to group this middleware. Alright. So now I'm just going to call our different routes. So the first route I'm going to create is our user route. So it's a get. So I'm creating a get route. So user passport controller. So this route is for user details. Sorry guys, supposed to put that on the quotes. All right. So the next route we're going to create. Sorry, I made a mistake here. So the next route we're going to create is for resources. So these routes has to do with everything that has to do with our products. So we don't need to be creating separate routes. So everything that has to do with products, we use this particular route. All right, so that's products, and so we're just going to use call our products controller here. So we haven't created all these, so we'll create it as we progress. Alright, so we have successfully created the different routes. So here we created the login and authentication route. So while here we created the user routes and the product routes, and we put everything inside the middleware, which is our authentication API middleware. So alright guys, so we have progressed a little, so let us go. So the next thing we want to do now is we want to start creating our controllers. So the first controller we're going to create is our passport controller. So that's PHP artisan make controller, and we're just going to call this passport controller. Alright, so we've created that. My system is kind of slow today. I don't really know what's going on. Alright, so alright guys, we actually had an error here. Okay, so our error came because we didn't close our routes, our middleware. So that's why we had an error. So this is the error here. So I'm just going to like run it again, and now it should work properly. Alright guys, so that's it. So our controller, our passport controller is created. So you can just use Control P and just say passports. No. So this is our passport controller. So here we're just going to create everything regarding our passport logic here. So all our passport authentication logic will be here. Alright, so let's go. So the first thing I want to do is I just want to import the user model. Okay, so the first thing we're going to create is we're just going to create our registration controller. So that's a public, so a public function. Register request. All right. So what I'm going to do is, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a validation method here. So validate all our inputs, because some users can be very, very malicious. So you don't just want to trust anything that the user is giving to you. So that's why you must do this. Is a must, right? So since user will be passing in name, giving us their names, so we have to check it, and we're saying it must have a, it must be required, and it must have a minimum of 3. So somebody cannot just come and type nonsense there. That is, must have a minimum of 3 characters. So the next thing we want to validate is the email. So we want to make sure that the user is actually giving us an email, and we want that email to be unique. All right. Okay. So this is a database that we are checking it across. So we're making sure that in the user database is actually unique. Okay, that particular email is unique. So alright guys, so the next thing we're going to check is the password. So required minimum, and the minimum is 6, and so we are done with that, so we just close it. So the next thing we want to do is we want to create a user. So we create a user variable, and this user variable we call the user model, and we do create. So this is a Laravel eloquent method create. So alright, so what do we want to create? The first thing we want to create is name, and we want to pass it the request name, which is the name we are getting from our form, or rather from the API rather. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is email. Alright guys, just a quick one. Please, when you're creating an object, or when you're trying to store data into your database, make sure that this particular name corresponds with the one in your database, alright? Because if it does not correspond, you're just going to have an error. Alright, so the next one we want to create is our password. And so for our password, we want to encrypt our password. So we'll be using bcrypt. So bcrypt is actually really good. Okay, it actually sorts your password, which makes it difficult for hackers to guess. Alright, so password, and yep, oh shit, no. Alright, so we have done that, so we're going to close this. So the next thing we want to do is we want to create a token. So if a user successfully register, we want to create a token for that user, and we're just going to use the create token, and okay, so we just give it a variable elytra. You can actually put anything in here you think or you want here, so just put elytra academy. Alright, that sounds cool. So just say access token. Okay, so want to return. So what we return? We want to return a response. And the response we are going to return is a JSON. Since we're working with API, JSON is the best way to return your data. And the next thing we want to do is we want to create an object, a JSON object, and we're just going to pass to this. So we created a key called token, and that key we're just going to pass in this token variable. Okay, alright guys, so after that, so we're just going to pass in a server response of 200. Okay, so let me just do a brief walkthrough. So what we did here, we created a register function, and inside this function, the first thing we did is we validated all our inputs, or rather all the input that's coming from the user. So the next thing is we created the user objects we pass the user data to our database by creating it here. Then after that, we created a token for the user, and we returned the token back with a server status of 200. All right, guys. So this is everything we need to do concerning our register. So the next thing we want to do now is you just want to create the login function. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is credentials. Alright, so we're just going to save everything that all the user credential in this variable called credentials, and we're actually going to pass it into an array. Okay, and the next thing we want to do is we create a key and we'll pass it the Alright, so just to make it first, okay, so all the user's credentials, we're passing it into this array. Okay, and so the next thing we want to do is we want to create an if statement to check if the user's credential is actually correct. So next thing first, we just say auth. We'll call our auth method, and we just say attempt. Okay, and we pass it the credentials. So next thing we want to do is we'll create a token. If the user credential is correct, we want to create a token for the user. Alright, so we just do auth user and we'll create a token. Create a token, and I'm just going to copy this Elytra Academy here and just paste it here. Okay, so just gonna do access token, and so we created a token for the user. So we want to return this token we created. So just say response, basically what we did the first time in the registration section. So we're just gonna say JSON, and so we'll create a key token and we'll pass it the token we just created. And we return a server response of 200. Alright, so this is when the user's credentials are correct. So we want to say when the user's credential is not correct, so else if the user's credential is not correct, just return a response, and this response is just going to say that this user is not authorized. Okay, this user is not an authorized user. So I just say unauthorized. Alright guys, we almost there, and we just passed the server response of 401, and we close that. So that's all about our login function. So we got the user credentials from the requests, Then we did if first statement. We attempted the user credential to check if it's correct, and when it's correct, we create a token for the user and we return that token as a JSON. Alright guys, so the next step now we're going to do is we want to create a function for the user details. Okay, so this function is just basically going to return the user details. So we're just going to do return response JSON. Okay, user auth. I'm actually not a good, I don't really type first, so please bear with me. Slow typing, it's just my thing, but I'm improving. Alright, back to, so what we just do here is so we can get the user data and everything relating to this particular user. So you can modify it the way you want, but just for this tutorial, we're just getting everything from the database that has to do with this particular user. Alright guys, so far so good. We've created our login and register functions and the details. So the next thing we want to do is we just want to go next to the next section of this tutorial, which is to create our product CRUD. Alright, so that is what we want to do now. Alright, so create our product CRUD. Some people call it CRUD, but I call it CRUD. Whichever one is correct, people. Alright, so we'll do PHP artisan make model. So we'll just say products. So we just wanted to make both make a model and a controller for us all together. Alright guys, so our products, controller and model has been created. So the first thing we want to do is we'll go to our database migrations, and yeah, this is the products table we just created. So we're just going to add some more tables here. Okay, so for our table, we're just going to create a column for user ID, and it's going to be an integer. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to create a column for names, product name, and since it has to do with a name, so it's going to be a string, so we're just going to say name. And the next thing we want to do, we want to create for price. So I want to create for price, and sorry, price is actually an integer. Alright guys, so I want to create a reference as well, so we're just going to say table. We're going to create a foreign key for this. Alright guys, so the next thing we want to do now is we want to create the fillable property in our product model. So we just go straight to app products. So inside the fillables, we're just going to create a protected class for that. So protected fillable name. So the two things we want to fill is just name and price. Alright, so once we're done with this, so what we want to do now, we just want to do PHP artisan migrate. Okay, we have an error, so let me find out what happened here. Oh, sorry. So what actually happened is we didn't close this. So now that it's closed, so that's why we had an error. Oh, sorry. So we're just gonna do PHP artisan migrate. Okay, so we're still having an error. Just a moment, let me figure this out. Alright guys, this foreign key stuff is just giving us issues. So what I wanted to do, I just wanted to make sure that every product that is being created is tied to a particular user. But just to save our time, I'm just going to pull it off and try and migrate it like that. Oh man. Okay, so let's see. So let's check our table to see what's happening. Alright. Okay. Okay, so our table is already created. And so our table is already created. So alright, so let's move forward. So the next thing I want to do is under the user model, we're just going to create a public function here. Public called products, and we just do return and this has many products. Okay, so we are moving straight now to our product controller, which we created. So inside our controller, so this is the product controller which we created. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to create public. So we're going to create an index method here. Okay, and what we just want to do is we just want to return all the products. So, and so in our, so we're also going to import, before least I forget, so we're going to import our product model. What am I doing? Okay. Okay, so I've created it. So the next thing I want to do is inside here we want to return. So we're just going to return a response, and this response we're going to return JSON as usual, and our JSON is just going to carry a success message telling us it is successful, and we're just going to return a boolean saying true, and we're just going to return data. So the data we're going to return, it's the products. So we're just going to return the products. Ouch. Products. All right, so let me close this before we run into an error again. So now that's for the index. So let's say you want to check, let's assume you want to check for a particular product, a single product. So we're just going to create a method called show, and this show is going to take a parameter called ID, and we're just going to create a variable as we did initially. So this variable is going to be called products, and as usual we check if the user is authenticated, then call the user model and call the products and do find. So the particular user we want to find, just say ID. Alright, so that is the first stage. So the next one is we want to create an if statement saying if actually there's no products, it should return a response saying that there is no products. So return. So you're going to return a response, and the response is going to be a JSON. And so I'm just going to copy everything that is here just to make it fast. And so it's going to return false because there's actually no product. And here we're just going to return a message and say that the product with ID. So we're going to concatenate this ID we receive, product ID concatenate is not found, right? So this particular product is not found. And so as usual we're just going to return 400, error 400, which means not found. Alright, so we're just going to write so the next thing we want to do is that's if that particular product is not found, but if it's found we want to return a response, right, that says return a JSON. Okay, so we're just gonna, as usual, we're just gonna, copy everything. Okay, so we're gonna return true. So we're just gonna return the product, but we're gonna turn it to an array. We're just gonna do to array, and as usual, we close, and over here we just put 400. Okay, so now we are done with this. We're done with this. The next thing we want to do is, so let's say we want to store a new product into our database. So we're just going to create a public function. So we're going to create a public function again for that. Now we're actually going to store. So as usual, request. So we're going to validate as usual. So we want to validate all our user inputs, because no user can be trusted except the developer of the system. But believe me, no single user on this head can be trusted. So that's why I want to validate. So this is server-side validation. So you can also do HTML validation as well. Alright, just to make sure that you're not missing out anything. So we want to validate the price. So we want to make sure that for the price is actually an integer. So we're just going to do required, and integer. Alright, so we are done with our validation. We just close it here. So now we have validated. So what we want to do is we want to create a product model. So we just say product, and we create a new model for product, and we close that. So next thing we want to do now is we want to say products, which is products, and we're calling on the name, and we're going to pass it the request, the user inputs. Okay, so price as well. Alright guys, so now, so what we'll do next is we're just going to create an if statement. Say if if this user has the right credentials, okay, save this particular product. Alright, so we want you to save what? This particular product. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake here. Alright, so when it's being saved, we want to return a response, and this response is usual JSON. I should have just pasted this, right? Alright, so I'm just going to paste it there. Success products to Harry method, and just close it. Alright, so else if the user is not authenticated, else, so please kindly return. So it's going to return a response. You know what, let me just copy this stuff here. See, let me close this. Okay. Alright, so first of all, let's turn this to false, and just say products could not be found. Alright, so product could not be found. So let's close it, and okay, so now, and guys, I just made some series of mistakes here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to wrap everything in this my JSON inside it, in a coil, in a brace, and give it an error of 200. And here we're just going to wrap it inside a brace. Sorry guys for this mistake. Sorry, I'm really sorry. I'll just say 500. Okay, see? Series of mistakes. I'm sorry guys, I don't know, we're just distracted. Alright? Okay guys, so yeah, I want to return 200 as well. Okay, so far so good. This is where we are currently, and so let's progress. We're almost done. We're already there. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to create a function, and this function, we're going to create for updates. So if we want to update our products and requests, and we want to get an ID. So this is the ID of the product ID that we want to update. So guys, I'm just trying to make this video as fast as possible. So I'm just going to copy this find ID here. So I'm just going to paste it here. Alright. So let's do that. So the next thing I want to do is I want to create an if statement. So what I want to do first of all, I just want to say if there is no product. Alright. Okay, if there is no product, rather if this product could not be found. Okay, so I want you to return a response, and this response is going to be a JSON, and alright, so we're just going to return success. Okay, Alright, let me just copy this stuff. So, basically the same thing. Okay, so we just said this the product ID, product with ID, then we could concatenate and say ID, concatenate again, and we say not found. Alright, so that's that. Then next thing we want to do now is, that's if it's not found, but if the product is found, what we want to do is we want to create an updated, and we'll just say products. Okay, we want to fill in all the requests, alright, all the updates. So we'll just say fill requests all, and so we save it. Alright, and the next thing we want to do is want to say if it's updated, okay, we want you to return some API response, and what we want to return here is, so 200. So just return true, and say products updated successfully. Alright, and so what I do else, okay, just do false. So that's a products could not be updated. Alright, so products could not be updated. So the next thing we want to do now is we want to create our deletes. So we're almost at the end of this whole process. So we want to create our delete function. So the guys, so public function, so just say destroy. Okay, destroy everything that has to do with this product, and you're just going to do as usual. I'm just going to come here and copy this out. So we'll find the particular products that we want to destroy. I want to destroy that product. Start. So we're just going to do as usual. We're just going to say if this product is not found, if this particular product is not found, we want you to return a message, a goodwill message, and this goodwill message is going to say, hey guys, sorry, okay, couldn't find this project. Okay, so you're just going to say we couldn't find this project. Sorry, this is going to be false. Alright, so we're just going to say hello sir, this particular product that you want to destroy could not be found. We are sorry if we disappointed you with ID product with ID is not found. product with ID is not found. We're sorry. Okay, so we just give it a server response of 400, not found. Alright, we couldn't find it to destroy. Alright, but if it's found, so if products delete, if it's found, please kindly delete it. Kindly, please delete it. And we want you to return a response. Say, yay, we did it. I want you to say, so let's give it a message and say, oh, sorry, this is not, that's not supposed to be data. So we want to give it a message of product deleted successfully. Alright, good. So we are on track, we are on point. Alright, so else, let's assume something went wrong, couldn't delete a particular product. So we just want to say return. Alright, say, first of all, we're going to return false. We're just going to say, we're going to return a message. Say product could not be deleted. We don't know the reason, so we're just going to return error 500. Alright? Okay, so guys, thank you for staying this far. Alright, so this is the whole stuff. So this is our delete method, our updates, our store to store, this is show, and this is our index. Alright guys, so the next thing I want to do is we want to test what we have done through Postman. But before then, let's just first of all run our program. PHP artisan save. Alright, so our application has started successfully. So next thing, I want to open my Postman and test it out. Alright guys, so before we proceed, I'd like to just correct some few things in our passport controller. First of all, this is wrong, so you're supposed to put a comma, and we spelled our B crypt wrongly, so just supposed to be B crypt. Alright guys, so let's go straight to our Postman. So these are register routes. So I selected post here, so this is the route we are using to test it out. So I'm just going to create a new email, so I'm just going to call it testing, and I leave out Victor Joe. Alright, so I leave all the information here, and so let's test it out. Okay, so this email has been created successfully. So let's try and log in this email. So I'll just call it testing, since the password and the password is the same. So I just click next. So what happened here is now you see a token has been generated for us. So a token has been generated for us. So now now that the login API and the register API is working, so let us test out the user details API. So what we're just going to do is we just come here, So we select get, which is the default. So we just say localhost HTTP, localhost, and 8000 and /API/user. Alright, so what we're just going to do next is we just come straight to header, and in header the first key we want to put is going to be accept. Alright, and the value for our accept is going to be application/JSON, and the next thing we want to put the other key, which is authorization. And on our authorization here, we just put bearer in front, and we just come over here and we are just going to copy this whole token that we generated. Alright, so this token is the one that is going to grant us access. So we'll come back here. After the bearer, we just paste it here, and that is all. So if you click send, you see we got our user data back from the database. So these are user data, which shows that everything is working perfectly well. So the next thing that we want to test out is we want to test out the product API. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do so over here we're just going to do products, and as usual in the header section we just do accept, and here we just do application/JSON. Here we just do authorization. Okay, and over here we just do bearer, and we paste our API key, our token. Alright, and we just do send. So you see, okay, there's an error, and let me just try and decode that error. Alright guys, so I've detected the error, so let's try it again. So you see, it showed us an error here. So what happened is at our product model we didn't close the protected class. So we have closed it now. So let's go back and test it out. So if we just click send now, you see it's going to show us true, but it didn't return any products. That is because we have not created any product at the moment. Alright, so what we want to do now is we want to try and create a product. So we just create a new alright, so HTTP. Okay, so over here we just say products, and here we change here to post. Over here we give it the first key, which is name, and here we just give it a key, which is price, and here we give it a name, let's say books, and we give it a price of 12,000. Alright guys, so let us test. Sorry, we made a mistake here. So we're supposed to put it inside the body, not the parameter. Yeah, sorry about that. So inside the body, say form data, name, books, and over here we just give it price, and we say $10,000. So let's test it out then. Okay, we didn't have our in our header here, we didn't have our authentication, so that's why we have this error. So let's try and fix that and get it. So over here at the header, we just do our accept as usual, and we'll just say application JSON. We just put authorization, and in the authorization we just do bearer. Before we paste in our API key. All right, so let's test it out. Okay, we have another area. So that's in our product controller. So guys, so far so good. All our errors is just basically typographical issue. That's because I'm not a good type. I don't type fast. So, but I'm working on it. So I promise that in our next video, I'm going to improve my typing and spelling accuracy. And okay, we have another error here. So our next error is here. So this is product. So here is supposed to be products. And so let's test that. Let's test that now. All right. Okay, guys. So everything is working perfectly well. Okay, so everything is working perfectly well. So we have successfully created our products, and so let's go back to fetch the product. So let's send. Okay, so you see we have our products here. So let's try and create another one. Let's say bike, and let's say the price is for $100, for example. All right, so we click send. Okay, so if we go back to our API, and so we find out that we have two. So you see we have actually 3 products in this place. All right, guys. So far so good. This is all about that. So let's assume we want to fetch a particular product. So I'm just going to go here where we have been getting our products, and I'll just say slash. Let's get product number 2, ID 2. So again, another error again. Where did that error come from? That's line 31. Okay. All right. So line 31. So it's supposed to be products, not product. Oh, I know what caused this issue, because I copied code. You see, that's why it's not too good to copy. It's not too good to copy codes. Alright, I guess that should be all. Alright, so let's go back to our Postman. So let's check it out. Yay! We got it right now. So we have our single product fetched for us. So guys, so the next thing we want to do now is, let's assume we want to update a particular product. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this URL. I'm going to come here and paste it here as usual. Then I'll put since we are updating. I'll still come back here and go to the header. So I'll just copy the whole stuff here. Come back here. Go to our header. So in our header, I'm just going to say accept as usual. Then I'll just do application that JSON, and over here I'll just do authorization. Alright, so I'll just paste the bearer here. Okay, so over here in our body, so I'll just come and do form data. So the name, I'm going to change the name from books to, let's say, what do I call it now? Let's say MacBook. Oh shit, MacBook Pro. Alright guys, so next I want to do, I want to add the price. So let's say MacBook Pro is around $1,700 for the recent one. Alright, so I'll just click on testing it out. Great, so we have updated our product was successfully. So let's come back here and check if our product was actually updated. Okay, let's check what happened. Oh, so that didn't work. So let's just give me a second. Let me find out what happened. Okay. All right, guys. See, when we try to update our feed, is not updating. The reason is because when you're using puts, you're supposed to use XWW form uLength code. So in this place, what we're just gonna do is okay, we just put our prices. All right, price, and we just put let's say $1,800. Okay, and let's check that out. So it said updated. So let's check here, and you see it's working. So let's change product 2. So let's say product number 2, I want to give it let's say Dell server machine. All right, so let's put it at 10,000. Let's add one more 0 to that. All right, so let's test it out. See, it's working successfully. Okay, guys, so the last part of this tutorial is we want to show you how to delete. So what we're just going to do, first of all, select the delete, do HTTP. Okay, let's delete. So products. All right, so slash which product do you want to delete? Let's say we want to delete product 3 or product 1. All right, okay, so the next you want to do, as usual, we'll just do accept, and over here we just put our application and JSON. So let us come back here, go to our header. Oh no. Okay, so let us copy everything here, and over here, so we just do authorization, and over here we just paste it there. Okay, guys, so let's test it out. So it said delete successfully, so let's check that. Is it true? Did you actually delete successfully? Yeah, guys, see, it deleted successfully. So we just have 2 products here. All right, guys, if you watched to the end of this tutorial, I just want to say thank you very much for stopping by. Thank you for watching to the end. All right, I can understand that during the video process, I make some typographical issues, and that's actually made the video to stay longer, and we encounter some few bugs. But I'll say me trying to debug, okay, for you is actually a skill on its own. Debugging is a skill on its own. So there's no way you can write code actually without fixing bugs. So next time I'll try and improve on my typing skill, and I'll try and make the video a little bit shorter. So if you have any question, you can just drop it at the comment section. I will always reply you. So thank you, and if you have any videos you like us to make, you can just simply suggest it, and we'll make those videos for you. So thank you very much. Please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, I'm really happy to you. Just kindly subscribe to my channel so that you can get the latest of our videos. And I'm trying to make a commitment right now to be posting at least 1 or 2 videos every week. Alright, thank you guys, and see you in our next video. Bye.